Da, 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 da. I used to think maybe you'll love me, and baby, I'm sure. Hey, Bean! And I just can't wait till the day when you knock on my door. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Every time I go for the mailbox, I hold myself down. Come on, dance, Bean. Dance with me. I just can't wait till you write me you're coming around. Write to me, Bean. Write to me. We're walking on sunshine. Oh.
I'm walking on sunshine.
Oh.
I'm walking on sunshine. Wow.
Now don't you feel good? Okie dokie, baby. It's a new video day. New Satisfactory video today. Grab some nuts. Hey, back.
And I don't want to spend my whole life just doing
What did I come down here for again? Oh, I'm going that way.
Don't want you back for the weekend and not back for one day. And no. I said,
Woo!
oh yeah, now
What's up,
I'm
Sluggo?
walking on sunshine.
Whoa!
I'm walking on sunshine.
Whoa!
I'm walking on sunshine.
Clap. Beans! I feel the love. Baby. Oh, Beans walking on sunshine. Oh,
And I feel good.
hell yeah. Now that's a way to start a bloody video. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Satisfactory. Hopefully you're having a good morning, afternoon, and evening. As you know, last time we started placing down these blenders to make some diluted fuel because we want to start putting in all of this to go into some more blenders over here to make rocket fuel, because I want to use that rocket fuel, package it, and then also use that for the drone fuel. But it's going to be a bit more of a bigger job than I required, because I totally forgot that if we actually go into the constructor, we can clearly see that the empty fluid tank requires aluminium ingots, and they're not pretty cheap, which does mean we do need to automate an official aluminium plant, which is going to be the objective of today. So first thing we want to do is we want to start placing all the blenders down, start connecting up all the water, and getting all of this done and dusted and out of the way, because we're going to be leaving this area to go and work on somewhere new, which is going to be in the Golden Coast. And there we go. As we can see, I've added 12 blenders that is going to be making rocket fuel. And I've also added 12 more to the opposite side. And it is going to leave us with plenty more diluted fuel left over, which for right now, I don't know what I'm going to do with. But who knows? In the future, we'll see what we can do with it. So as you can see, I brought the sulfur, the coal, and a lot of water pipes up into this section. And all the water pipes are coming from, obviously, right down here where we've got quite a few water extractors. And then the sulfur and coal is coming in from, well, this train station, which is being collected from what we've been building in the previous videos. And just to clarify, all of this water is going to the blenders on the left-hand side as well to make the diluted fuel. So now with this out of the way, we are making roughly 150 times 12, which is 150 times 12 is 1,800 rocket fuel. But as you can see with the opposite side, I've just left it barren. I've just not connected up anything because I'm not bringing in enough sulfur to get all of this up and running. And as we know, sulfur is not cheap because we need it for a lot of things. And I don't feel like wasting it on that side when this side is going to be making roughly, if I'm not mistaken, we're making 1,800. 1,800 divided by 60 is going to go into 30. Constructors, hold. What's my output on this? Empty fluid tanks, and then times it by 60. Right? Is that right? Wait, hold. Yeah, it's a 1-to-1. Yeah, so we'll be making 1,800 packaged rocket fuel, basically. Wait, no, it's not. No, it's what? Wait, hold on. Wait, no. Stop. I hear you shouting at me, okay? I hear you shouting at me. Where's my production buildings? Where is my packager? I don't know why I'm thinking I'm packaging it in a constructor. Packaged rocket fuel. Here we go. So 120 rocket fuel. So yeah, so 1,800 divided by 120 is going to be 15. Times that by 60 is going to be 900 packaged rocket fuel per minute, which is okay. It's pretty okay, and that's good enough for at least, let's say, what, 900 divided by 50. Oh, we can even go more than that. We could potentially say, we could say 90. You know, if we think about it as in 10 rocket fuel per drone, we can do potentially 90 drones with just this setup here. And if we need to in the future, when I get more sulfur, which we'll be able to get when we get the converter, because the converter is just a beautiful, beautiful machine, especially when you want to get more items of more raw resources, because we'll be able to convert items to make more sulfur if need be. But we need quite a bit of sulfur for some future projects. But you're also going to have to excuse me because I've been sick for the last 2 weeks with my voice. And as you can tell, it's kind of in a very sexy kind of mood right now, if that's what you want to call it. Well, for some people anyway. Hey, Bitsy. Anyway, let's head over to the Golden Coast and see what we're going to do in regards to the new aluminium plant. Because as we know, we do have a temporary one up in the Red Forest right now. So I'm going to hitch a ride on this train. Boop. And I do still have the mod. Which one is it? What's the key back? There it is. Look at this. And you know, I installed a first-person camera mod for the train, which is pretty cool. I can kind of look around and do stuffs. And but saying that, I don't want to be heading on this train. I want to be heading right down this track to go to the Golden Coast. Right, so down in the Golden Coast, as you can see, I've started making the off-ramps and on-ramps, and obviously the train track, which is going to go into a little bit of a factory just behind these rocks right here, which is going to export our aluminium bottles to, well, the rocket fuel plant. But as you can see, I've started using the middle line here to start bringing up the trains, and it's going to go to the left and hanging down here. I've not put any supports down here like I've done on that side just yet, because I'm not making enough steel beams per minute to keep up with the dimensional depot and the storage and whatnot. So yeah, some people have asked previously, like, how are you going to get trains from the middle lane? And this is pretty simple. I just make a on and off ramp. So if a train's coming from, you know, over this side, they're going to come along here, they'll come up here. If they want to turn left, they'll continue. But if they want to go back down onto the highway, they'll just come back down this ramp here if they're going to be continuing to another factory that could be elsewhere down there. And then it's just the same with the back on ramp. It's just new enough, the same principle coming onto this line right here. And why am I using this line, the inner line here? Well, the trains are actually going to be going through the already congested, well, I say it's not congested, it's on the verge of being congested over at the electronics plant where we're building the rocket fuel. And there is a lot of train stations that actually go onto this line right here, and I don't want the trains to pull out and there's more trains going on this line, especially if we're going to be making, maybe sending roughly around 4 trains that are going to be coming from this factory over here to go over there. So it's just an extra train. I just don't want to be bothering the other trains over there, even though we have set it up to have a decent throughput. So if we actually head around here, we can start seeing where I've started to place the foundations. and where I think I'm going to put the train line, so we can see. Obviously, I started the train line first, and I started placing it here with a foundation, with a 7-meter underflooring, and starting preparing where I want to look at potentially putting the refineries that's going to consume the bauxite. And we can see there is a bauxite node up there, and there is also one up there. This is obviously a temporary design. I'll probably do something with it once the time comes. And this is going to be bringing in the bauxite. I'm going to be using the Mark III Mark III miners for that, which I have unlocked, right? I think we unlocked it in the previous video. Yeah, Mark III miners. The only thing I need is I need turbo motors, and I can easily do that by just quickly setting up a manufacturer to get them done, because they are in manufacturers, right? Manufacturers, yeah, turbo motors. I just need to get radio control units being done, motors, rubber, put all them in there, and just make a handful, because the only thing I really need turbo motors for now is just for Mark III miners. And if I've got roughly around, you know, something in, like, you know, let's say 50 in here, like I've got 0, but 50 roughly will do us for now, so we can start placing the miners down. So we are going to put one up there, and these are going to be sending 780 per minute down. So that does mean if we go into here, we're going to be making the sloppy alumina, which is going to require 200 bauxite and 200 water. And then that's going to make the alumina solution at 240 per minute. But I am going to overclock this. I'm still kind of working it out myself at the minute, which is then going to go into the alternate recipe for the scrap, which is going to be the electrode aluminium scrap right here. And that's going to need aluminium solution. And it's also going to need petroleum. I'm actually going to make this a 1-to-1 ratio, so we can output the direct output of the alumina solution from here. Let's say 240, for example, directly into this, and then this will consume 240. And then we'll send whatever we need to. For example, this water right here, we're going to send this out more than likely to be either being sent back into this loop here, because this is going to need water, or we're going to send it into some more refineries over here to actually make wet concrete, which is probably a good solution as well, because we always need more concrete, especially if we want to do large builds. And we have limestone that's pretty nearby. So first of all, we are going to need to make petroleum coke, and for petroleum coke we already know that there is some oil nodes just to my southwest here on these islands. I'm pretty sure there is one. Oh, well, that one right there, we may as well grab that one. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a pure right there. So if I just quickly scan for that crude oil, yeah, that one's a pure, this one's a normal, and we've got another one over there, and then that is what we're going to use. And I'm just going to bring this down here, because we're going to need to make the petroleum coke. Then we'll probably belt this along here and then get it sent into some of these. So I need to figure out what I want to do with these numbers, and then I've got to look at the design. I don't know what I'm going to do for the design yet, but I think I might start compartmentalizing each room. That's a big word for me, that. And I'm going to start maybe putting these into their own room. Like them refineries over there are going to go into these refineries, or I might put just these refineries here. I'm just trying to think of the numbers I want to do in regards to this. Okay, right, so you're going to have to blame live streaming Bitz, because he forgot to save a checkpoint for me in regards to what we did in here, which I made 4 refineries, which is making the bauxite at consuming 375 per minute, which is going to be 375 here, 375 there. That's going to go into one miner, and then these two are going to go into that miner up there. These are then outputting 450 aluminium solution, or alumina solution per minute, and that is going to go into these, where I've overclocked these to 450 consumption on the alumina solution, and it's also going to consume 100 petroleum coke. So that does mean we're going to need 600 petroleum coke for these 4 refineries here, and we're also going to need 450 alumina solution per each one, which are being directly fed by these anyway. Like I said, 1-to-1 ratio. Water we can literally just grab from anywhere. Then this is going to output 750 aluminium scrap, and also output 262.5 water, We are going to have to load balance the water, and we're going to start using pipes. We're going to start using some what they called valves, and then we're going to send that over in this general direction, where it'll go into a room here to make a wet concrete. So with the design stuff right now, I just kind of want to take over here, because like I said, blame live streaming Bitz, because the save that he saved for me is way too ahead of what we kind of done. So I just want to kind of break down what I've done here. So again, 4 refineries taken in the bauxite, 4 refineries to make electrode scrap, 1-to-1 ratio going into each of these. The water I've not brought up yet, or actually bringing in. We can kind of see the pipes here, but I've not connected them up to any water extractors. And these are then going to output 750 each, which will then more than likely go upstairs, I think. And I've not connected up these to power yet. So I need to figure out what I want to do. And then if we head over into this general direction, we can see I've got this down here. This is obviously not powered as well by all the red lights. And this is just bringing in the oil that's going to be coming in from this oil extractor over here. And that's going to be going into these right here, which is going to cost 60 crude oil per minute. So we're just going to turn this into, well, 10 refineries. 10 refineries times by 60 is 600, which I'm going to just overclock that one to make sure we're sending out 600. This is then going to make 800 heavy oil residue. And it's also going to make 400 polymer resin. The heavy oil residue is going to go straight as a 1-to-1 into these refineries here. And it's going to go into, where is it? Petroleum coke. And we're just going to overclock these to 200%. So if I do that, that is then going to send this 80 right here straight into this refinery right here to make 240 petroleum coke. That is going to be way more than we need, because obviously we only need 600, so only 3 of these is going to be really needed. So I'm just going to sink the rest, or maybe put them into something else with something else later. I actually don't know. And then regards to the resin, I'm actually going to send that down here, and I'm just going to sink that for the time being until we might need it. And more than likely we will, because we'll combine it with the resin that might be over at the rocket fuel plant, with the refineries there, to make recycled rubber and recycled plastic on the masses, because I might use that with the diluted fuel that's over there, so we can have a large abundance of plastic and rubber, which can go to future projects. So I'm just going to kind of leave it for now and sit on it until we officially need it, because there's no point in making it and doing a big plantation if it's just going to sit there and do nothing. So I need to get all these powered, get all these done, get all this booted and up and running, and then hopefully it all runs fine and dandy. Right, so a little time later, I've now put the refineries down, which is going to consume the water and limestone to make wet concrete, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 refineries right here, and we have 4 refineries inside here that is outputting 262.5, 105, 105, and 262.5. Is that right? That's not right, is it? These need to be up. What did I do now? Have I messed this up? I think I've messed this up, haven't I? So these are meant to be doing the same, right? 400, yeah. Yeah, these are meant to be overclocked. Boom. And boom. Okay. So 750 per minute, 262. Okay, yeah. So 262.5 times by 4 is 1050 water. And then if we come down here to these refineries, we can see we need to consume 1050 water. So this one's doing 200, this one's doing 200, this one's doing 200, this one's doing 200, so that is 800 right there. And then this one in the middle is doing an additional 50 water to make the 1050. So that's 1050 water being consumed here. I'm not actually sending it back to the original aluminium solution here. We're just going to import this directly from the water extractors. And then, like I said, we're just going to bring in the bauxite which will come into these two manifolds here. Like I said, one line is only going to 2 refineries because we are overclocking them, just to kind of make it more compact and condense in here. And yeah, it's kind of coming along okay, but if we look at this, we have the water down here, and right now it looks a little crazy, I know, but when you look at it, we have 262.5 water coming from 2 machines which are merging together. So if we look at 262.5 times that by 2, that's 525 water. So 525 water is coming down here, it's coming down into here, and then comes along here into here. Then this valve is only going to allow 200 water to come through, leaving 325 water to come this way. This then is going to put 200 water this way, which means only 125 is going to go through this valve, which is then going to merge with the exact same water that's coming out of these two. So again, 200 water is going to go up there, 200 water is going to go up there, leaving 125 to merge here with 125 to merge here. So that'll be 250 water, which goes through here into this valve, which goes up into this refinery, which requires 250 water. Then that means we're going to be making how much concrete per minute? 160, 320, 640. We're making 840 concrete per minute here. Also, I've done a little bit of load balancing. It's a very simple setup. Just don't look at it as a whole, look at it as a half. And this is bringing in, I can't remember how much am I bringing in now. Where is the limestone I'm bringing in for this? Oh, it's over this side. So we're bringing in 240 limestone, 240, that's 480. This is going to be 480 on this side, and then also 300 here. So let's say 240 times by 4 plus 280. No, that's not right. 300, which will be 1,260. And then over here, you can kind of see the 3 lines I'm bringing in. We have 2 Mark 5s, and then we have a Mark 1, which is only bringing in 60. So this is is this a 600? This is a 600, and then this is a 60. I think that's all I needed. Yeah. And then up here at this little load balancing system, what we're actually doing is 600's coming into this splitter. So 300 goes along there, 300 goes along there, and then here we're getting this 300 to remove 60, and by doing that, we've got a Mark III belt here, which is a fast belt, but then in between these ones, that is a Mark 1, which means 60 is going to get taken off this 300, leaving 240. So that is a 240 belt, and then this 60 then comes up into this lift, and this splitter is going to do exactly the same as this one right here. So 300 is going to go into here, 60 is going to go into this merger, and merge with the 60 from this one, from that one there. 120 is then going to go up here. So everything this does right here, splitting this 600 into 300, 300, this 300 sends 60 that way, this 300 sends 60 that way, 240 go that way, 240 go up there, and 120 go up into this one. That's going to do exactly the same thing here. So 300, 300, 60 comes off, 60 comes off, 120 goes up there, 240 that way, 240 that way. That means 120 is going that way, and then 120 is going that way, which then merge together into this merger, which will give 240, which is also inputting the 60 belt that's down there by itself, equaling 300 limestone. That's then going to run along here, and that's going to go into this middle refinery because it requires 300 limestone. So that's 240, 240, 300, 240, 240. And they're all coming down here, and then going to go into there. And then the next thing I need to actually do is start stress testing this. I don't want to start putting the refineries down and start making the ingots and whatnot, and something along here backfires. So I didn't want to stress test these in here without actually having somewhere for the water to be sent to. So hopefully now it works. Alright, so stress tests are currently underway. And if you don't know what a stress test is, it's just basically just putting resource sinks at the end of every single one of your lines to make sure everything gets moving and hopefully everything works. And it means you can look at all your system before moving on to build something else to only find out there is a problem with the start of the system. So I'm doing all of this before we move on to the next chapter, which is kind of just, you know, finishing this up and putting the smelters and stuff upstairs more than likely. So in here, ignore the kind of craziness that's going on right now. Again, just stress testing. We can clearly see we're in here, and this is all looking promising right now. We're just keeping an eye on everything here, and we can kind of see that this right here is currently 95%. If we stir it this long enough, we will see this eventually go to 100% because everything is being consumed correctly. Because I've been stirring at this now for the last 2 hours, 3 hours on the live stream to make sure that everything is running fine and dandy. As we can see, this one's 100% now, this one's 100%, and then so are these two. But because this is on a manifold from that side, that's why it's taken a little bit time to cook. So all this seems to be running fine, and now it's just double checking this over here. So this is the, obviously, like I said, the whole little load balancing kind of system I've got set up here. So 240, 240, 300, 240, 240, all coming down here into these refineries. And then these refineries also are slowly, as you can tell, it's just gone to 97%, will eventually go to 100%. Fingers crossed. If this stops at 99, for example, we have a bit of an issue somewhere. Because what we don't want to happen is this water to back up. And if this water backs up, it's going to literally back up the water that's in there. It'll affect all the water that goes into these. It'll affect all of these machines in here. That means that these refineries in here will start shutting down one by one because the water is backing up, which means we won't produce the scrap, which if that's a problem, it means it will start filling up in here, which then that means these will start backing up, and so on and so forth. Hence why when it comes to aluminium, you definitely want to stress test your builds. So yeah, now that this is running, I'm going to run this for a bit longer, and I want to make sure the results I get are the ones we want, and then I can start sending this scrap up to make aluminium ingots, which once that's done, I can start turning that into the bottles. And bada bing, bada bosh, we have some more progress. As you can tell, we've now got a little bit of a design going on the front. I've not actually done it on the actual sides, back, or the other side just yet. As you can kind of tell right here, we've got a big gaping hole. But I started kind of coming up with this kind of design idea, and it kind of matches the turbo fuel building with the kind of the pipes coming down here and using the copper painted beams to kind of create these jagged wall textures right here. And all these are is just basically painted beams that have been turned. So if you just grab yourself a beam, place it there, click it once, and then place that way, and then use your middle mouse button and rotate it. Then just kind of gone through it just like that. I've done this over and over again, like so, to get the desired effect that I wanted. And then some people have asked, like, how am I getting these pipe holes on actually these metal ones, because you can't place it on here. When 1.0 come out, it was originally a bug, and then Satisfactory devs actually patched it so you can't place them on here anymore. But to actually place them on here, it's very simple. All you need to do is get yourself a wall, place it down. Just, you don't even need to aim it there, to be honest. You can just place it here, aim at the actual pillars themselves, place that down, and then use the wall hole on the wall, and then remove the wall, and it kind of looks like it's on the actual metal pillars themselves. Then you can just kind of connect them up. And then I've just kind of put the belts, which if we go on the inside, we can see I'm now sending the scrap under the ground, which then go up into these lifts here, which then go up onto the next floor. I've kind of made this little design here. I don't know if I'm pretty sure, to be honest, that this design is going to get kept. I just kind of need some form of lights on the outside. But if we go up here, we can see I have bottles being made. I've made these little engines up here. And if you remember, I do have a video on engines. I think it was like 4 years ago now. And all it is just kind of machines that look like this, which are very useful and compact. I'm pretty sure you can blueprint these now as well. So all it is we have the scrap going over into this side of the build. Is it this side of the build? No, they're coming from underground, sorry. So the 4 lines of scrap that's coming up, they've got their own dedicated smelter line, which is these. So 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line. And that's all of these here are consuming 750 scrap. And then these are consuming 750 scrap, which in itself is actually going to be making, if I'm not mistaken, 750. So this is a 750 line coming down here. 750 aluminium ingots are going up here onto these splitters right here, which go split down here. Some people ask how I make this kind of stack. It's a bit finicky because you have to make it back to front. So what I mean is you've got to put down the merger first, just like 1, 2, 3, 4. You then delete these bottom 2. You then delete, you get these conveyor poles. You then build that up 3 times. Then you delete the bottom one, and then you put the splitter down where it needs to. Then you kind of get this desired effect like this. Because in Satisfactory, you have to build backwards if you want to make some unusual designs sometimes. So once you've done that, so this splitter then goes down this little arterial line right here, goes down on the manifold line, gets split off into the each constructors. Then the constructors have a lift on the direct output, which then send the metal, the canisters, to the actual spine here, which then come down. And then obviously, if I remove that, the canisters come down here. And right now, I'm just going into these sinks just to make, because this is the end product. And now everything now is running 100% efficiently, because I've had this running for a few hours to make sure there's no inconsistencies anywhere. Because as we know, especially with aluminium and the water that gets outputted from the actual refineries, in some people's if you're a beginner to Satisfactory, it can be a pain in the butt. So now that we've got all these canisters, we can now start shipping these over to the rocket fuel plants. But I need to design what I want to do on the other side of the plant, and I need to finish the design of this off, and it's going to take quite a few more hours. I need to get some lights in here as well. But 1.1 is around the corner, and I'm debating if just to not finish this building design just yet, because I want to look at somewhere I can add like the elevator and some other cool aesthetics that they've been bringing in. So I don't want to finish this building off with a design only to get the 1.1 update potentially in the next couple of weeks to then redo everything again. So I'm actually going to leave this video right here. So thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, remember to like, subscribe, and also leave a comment. And remember, if you want to see me work on these, I do live stream Satisfactory over on this YouTube channel, and I also stream it on Twitch. Links are in the description. And I usually stream it maybe 2-3 times a week. Depends on what games I've released. So if you see that, tune in and come and join us, and you can kind of see the behind the scenes of what is going on. So I appreciate you all, and thank you so much for watching. And as always, check out my other content right here, and keep bloody smiling.